Oh, this is going to be an interesting one.
Yes, it is. All right. You ready, Chris?
I'm ready.
This is Inside with Outsiders. My name is Jeremy Asgari, and today's guest is Victoria Acampora, who is part of the New York City Outsiders team, as well as a New York teacher.
I am.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you're a New York native from Brooklyn.
From Brooklyn, like the real Brooklyn.
I know, from real Brooklyn.
Real Brooklyn.
We're not talking about any of this Williamsburg stuff or any of this Bushwick now stuff.
Yeah.
We're talking about the authentic Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, yeah. No. From born and raised in Marine Park,
Yeah.
South Brooklyn, and currently still living in Brooklyn and Bay Ridge.
Bay Ridge. That's right. I mean, if someone says Bay Ridge, you know they're from New York.
Yeah.
There's not many
You don't get like
implants in-
transplants that,
No.
oh, my daddy sent me to New York.
Yeah, you go to Williamsburg
You
if
go to
that's the case.
Exactly.
You go to Williamsburg. They come to Bensonhurst, tell them, yo, you Williamsburg. Well, anyway, sorry about that tangent. I
That's
just
all right.
agree 100. I agree 100% with you. We actually, I think, Roman was on the show recently. I think he's from, was it Bay Ridge or Benson? I can't remember. Shoot, never mind. Anyway, huh?
Is he from the same area as Alex?
I believe he is. Anyway, so once again, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Born and raised Brooklyn, right?
Oh, yeah. Always been here. Born and raised. Family's from the city.
Where's your
And,
family from? Parents?
Parents, Brooklyn. They were both from Bay Ridge. They, went to school together.
And what about prior to that? With your grandparents?
Grandparents, same deal.
Really?
My great grandparents, they're from a bunch of different places, but
Where are they from?
My roots are one side I've got Syrian, Lebanese, other side I've got Italian, Irish, German.
Oh, wow.
Again,
And do your parents speak other languages?
they don't.
Your mom doesn't
My
either?
mom doesn't. My grandfather spoke Italian. He didn't teach anyone in the family though. So you'd think, all right, I'll speak Italian, but no.
Any Arab-speaking people? Grandparents?
Not anymore, no. The
Great-grandparents?
great-grandparents did, but they didn't really speak any of it, so no one, aside from the bad words that
Yeah, there's this weird thing a lot of immigrant families did, which I'm hoping not as many do, is they don't want to speak to their children in their native tongue because they want them to learn English. But I think now we've already established they're going to learn English no matter what.
They're going to learn it, yeah, for sure. I mean, seeing it in schools, the parents, they like to speak their language at home, and then in school, they're like, yeah, you'll learn the English. I find it's great if everyone learns English because not that it's where we are, but it'll help them. It'll help everyone.
I personally think they'll learn English no matter what.
Yeah.
And I think they should be spoken to in their native tongues first because that's more easily forgotten.
Correct. I like the bilingual household thing. I've never had the experience. I'm fascinated with language, so I want to learn as many as I can.
You speak some Spanish, don't you?
I do. I speak a bit of Spanish. It comes back much better when I speak it more often. But
I was going to say when you speak it when you're drinking.
oh, it absolutely does when I'm drinking. Oh yeah, the confidence goes way up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always loved it. So I learned in school and I learned Spanish, and then I went from there. I learned a little Italian. Lived in Curacao for a while and picked up a bit of that language.
So you're interesting because
Thank
I gotta
you.
stop. I gotta stop you here because you have two sides of your life. This very stable, secure Brooklyn teacher, right?
Yeah.
You teach in Brooklyn as well.
I do.
So you have this very stable, secure, rooted life in Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. And then you're an explorer. You've explored. You travel nonstop. So I guess it's beneficial for you because you have the summers off.
Oh, absolutely.
So when were you always like that? Like, what did you want to be growing up?
I honestly, people ask me that, and they expect because I'm a teacher now that I've always wanted to be a teacher. I don't know what I used to want
And
to
what
be.
kind of teacher are you?
So I'm elementary science right now. So I can teach kindergarten through 5th grade science.
What does elementary science look like? Like, what are you teaching?
Honestly, I try to teach them a bit of critical thinking with different topics, so we'll study plants and animals and their relationships, but then we'll put it in like a real world situation. With my 5th graders, we're talking about ecosystem restoration. So it's embedded in a context in Costa Rica, which I have friends in Costa Rica that I want to bring in and like actually have them have conversations over Zoom and, okay, well, here's the problem. Here's why the problem's happening. What solutions can we propose?
There's not a lot of teachers who go out of their way and use their personal network to benefit a class experience.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
And I mean, even on some of the adventures that we've been on, I try to, take pictures or videos of different things that I know are going to happen.
Yes.
That I know are going to happen in my classroom soon. So
you do? I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even in Rio, I have a bunch of students that they wrote letters to me in school for part of their writing project, and they were talking about Guanabara Bay, and I was like, I was just there.
Nice.
And they're like, no, you weren't. I'm like, actually, here's my letter back, and here's my pictures.
Nice.
Yeah, but I do. I try to find little things to connect in real life because it makes it more real for them, and it helps everything.
So you didn't know you wanted to be a teacher growing up. When did you decide that?
In college. So I started off college going pre-med because
You want to be a doctor, really?
I thought about being a PA, physician assistant, and I just wanted to help people. My dad was sick, so I was like, you know what? I'm going to help people, and I thought that was the best way to do it, and I hated it. I hated my science classes. Now I studied to become a teacher. I know. I didn't want to become a science teacher. I just wanted to become a teacher. And funny enough, they put me in science when I got hired, and I loved it. So
you initially were pre-med because your father was sick. What was your father going through?
He developed lung cancer, and it progressed pretty quickly. So not a lot of time at a young age to cope with it, I guess.
Yeah.
And I figured, I was like, you know what, let me help some people. And since I didn't know what I wanted to do, let me do PA. And I learned over time that it was not for me, that I can help people in other ways.
What aspect did you not like?
I don't think anyone's going to tell you they like going to college chemistry class and chem lab and if you're not into that kind of field, you know?
You're right. My original major was biology.
Yeah.
And I had to take microbiology, which is cell biology, and all this stuff, and then the Krebs, all this stuff, which I hated.
Yeah.
Part of it's fascinating because you understand how things work, but wasn't for me. I mean, I'm definitely not a cell biologist anymore.
Yeah,
ever.
definitely not.
Anymore like I ever was. I'm saying now I didn't want to continue that.
Yeah. So that's kind of where it all started. I was like, I didn't enjoy any of the places that I was, or classes that I was in. And I was like, you know what, let me find something that I can enjoy more and work. And
how did you find your way? How did you find out teaching was what you wanted to do?
So I had a lot of friends that were in teaching majors. I had a lot of experience working with kids. I was a lifeguard. I used to be around a lot more kids when I was growing up, and I just or even a teen, babysitting and stuff. So I knew I liked working with kids, but I didn't think that that's where my life was bringing me. And
when did you make the final decision to make that your profession?
So instead of moving schools, I said, let me just try education. And I wound up going to student teaching and observing. And I was like, yeah, you know what? This feels right. This feels much better. And yeah, I went with it. I went with elementary ed and Spanish in college.
What school did you go to? What college?
I went to Marywood University. It's a small school in Scranton. So every time I say Scranton, they're like, oh, the office. And I'm like, yes, that. But it was a small school. And
I think, I played basketball for Hunter, and we played against Scranton for the tournament, and there's nothing out there.
There's nothing.
What did you do? My first year of college, I went to a place where there's nothing to do, and I came back after 1 year. I wanted to leave after the first semester. How did you stay the whole time?
So part of it was I switched my major, and then my second year of college, I joined the swim team. So
it's only an hour away, though, right? It's not that.
It's not too far. It's an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending. But there really isn't anything around there, and I didn't have my license my first year either, so I really had to just depend on other people, and people that were not from New York City or anywhere near it. I remember my freshman year that he was from a small town in Pennsylvania. This kid, he's like, yeah, you're from Brooklyn? He's like, yeah, you ever get shot at? I'm like, it's only on the weekends. I don't know.
I got some crazy, when I was in school in Ohio, the dumbest questions. I mean, although that school was had a lot of international kids, it was just naiveness.
Yeah. And it was fun. They were friends. He didn't mean anything by it, but just, learning more about the area. And then my sophomore year, I wound up joining the swim team. And
How'd you do
it kept me busy. I did well. I held my own.
Did you win some races?
I won some. I was not the all-star.
What was your event?
I was always a sprint freestyler.
Okay.
And I'm gonna regret saying this because he's not actually gonna see this ever. But I hated my coach. Hated my swim coach.
What was your
He
coach's name? I'll make sure he gets an email.
No comment.
What was it about him that you hated? And
He played favorites, and if you weren't like the best on the team, he seemed to not really appreciate you at all. And it's like, I'm one of those people that I'm coming in, I'm putting the work in, and I'm not a bad swimmer, but like I wasn't gonna kiss your ass.
right.
So that's kind of how I am in all ways. Like, I'm not gonna be rude. I'm not gonna be like a fake person and suck up to you.
Right.
But him and I didn't get along very well. But I'm very headstrong, so I went in every day, sometimes twice a day if I had to, of course, and swam my ass off and proved him wrong in the end.
Okay.
So like part of my favorite experience with that was winning a race that he didn't think I was gonna win, and seeing his face when I came up like from the block. Oh my God, it was the best.
Was he laughing, smiling, or
he was
shocked?
just like smiling, but it was a shock. He was like, he didn't expect it. And I was like, you know what? Have a little faith in the underdog. Like, and that was, it kept me busy.
Okay, so you stayed busy. I mean, this swim season's what, the winter, right?
I came back in August and it ends in February. But then with my education major, I was student teaching all the time, or I was doing observations and stuff.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't stay out there.
Yeah, it was interesting. But then I got a car, and then.
So where'd you go when you have a car in Scranton? Where do you go hang out?
I mean, like that downtown, there's like one or two places to go. Drank a lot of coffee at coffee shops.
No.
And then, I don't know, walked around Walmart at like 3 a.m. with all the other college kids. I don't know.
Yeah, I refuse. I was good. Nope. I came running back to New York. Went to Hunter College.
See, yeah, I wanted to get away from the city. I didn't know that I wanted to go to, like, the suburbs of Scranton, but
I want to get out of the city too, and so I
outside.
realized what out of the city was like, and I came back.
Yeah, it was interesting. But
So when you graduated college, what did you do? Did you have a job lined up already?
I had a job lined up already. Before I graduated college, I was student teaching, and my co-teacher that I worked with was amazing. She really was an amazing teacher and taught me a lot. And we got to just talk a lot and, here's about my life. And she knew that I like to travel. So she said, I have former students that really went abroad and taught. Do you want me to put you in contact? Like, you can at least hear about potentially teaching abroad.
And had you traveled by then at all?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'd been traveling since childhood with my mom.
Oh really? Where'd you go with your mom?
We would travel a lot within the States. We would do, your typical like beach vacations, but we went to Europe together. We went to South Africa together. So she put that spark in me, I think.
Okay, from an early age.
From an early age, yeah. And
so
then,
was it every summer you travel with her?
Yeah, as much as we could. It wasn't like long vacations, but it was, they were awesome. They were like really well thought out, and I don't know.
So then you got signed up for this teaching abroad program?
Yeah, it wasn't even a broad program. I applied to this international school in Curacao, and didn't think I was going to do it. I was in Spain during my senior year of college, writing my like thesis or whatever it was.
You did a semester abroad?
No, it was, I just went on vacation with my I was studying Spanish as well as education. So I had a dual major, and I was in Spain just enjoying life.
Man, she had to figure it out.
Wait, hold on. And you were on vacation and you were writing your thesis on vacation?
Well, yeah, it was technically like a school run trip.
Okay.
So like my professors were there, and we had fun. Like, it wasn't like we weren't taking classes, but it was
For how long?
like a week or 8 days or something like that. And we're on the bus going from one place to the next, and I'm, doing my project, and I get the email, and I was like, oh my God, do I open it?
Oh yeah.
And I got the job, and I was like, It's March in my senior year, and I still have a long way to go, but I already have a job. I was
That's
ecstatic.
crazy.
It was amazing. So it was to this little country that I really didn't know anything about called Curacao, and I moved over in July. And I was there for 3 years.
3 years.
3
Wow.
years.
What does your mom think about that?
Now that I'm back for a few years now, she's like,
Go back.
I love. No, she's like, I loved it for you, but I also hated it. It was really, really hard because it was just her and I for a very long time growing up, and for me to go to college and then go away for 3 full years.
At what age was it that it was just you and her?
basically, excuse me, since I was born. I mean, my mom and my dad split up when I don't even think I was a year. And then it was just her and I. So, I mean, I saw everyone in the family, you know, there was lots of interesting stuff that happened, but, you know, her and I, so the bond became strong. And, you know, for me to leave for 7 years, she was feeling it.
You were gone for how long?
Well, 4 years of college and then 3 years
Curacao.
away. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
And when you were there, did you ever think you'd stay there?
Oh, yeah. I didn't intend on coming back, at least at that point when I did. I wanted to stay there longer. I loved the school that I was at. It was the Curacao American Preparatory School, and it was, at that point, really amazing.
I mean, it's tropical
career.
climate, right?
Oh, my God. I lived where people vacation. It was amazing. So, you know, I got a lot of experience at that school in both creating curriculum, building relationships with the kids, and a lot more freedom for teaching. Like, it made me excited to teach.
Okay.
But
what changed?
Moving back here and being a DOE teacher.
Why did you?
Why did I come back?
Yeah.
So I needed to keep my teaching certificate, so I had to go back to grad school. And I am not the kind of person to go to school online. I need to be in person.
Grad school?
I went to Brooklyn College.
Okay.
I had a great experience, and I thought I'd go back to Curacao, but I got a job at the DOE, which job security is great.
Yeah.
But, you know, teaching is different.
What you mean? Let's hear it. Let's hear it. I mean, you don't have to listen. You just say whatever you feel comfortable saying.
I mean, it's nothing personal with anyone. It's just, it's a system. And back where I first started, it wasn't. It was us, you know, the staff of like 30 some odd people wearing multiple hats, making it happen. And it was great. The kids loved it. We loved it. It's a lot of work. I mean, don't get me wrong, but we all sign up to be a teacher knowing that there's work involved, you know? But teaching for the corporation of the DOE is definitely not what my first experience was like. Right. So feeling a little jaded.
Okay.
But,
okay.
You know.
So, but this is tricky because you still work for DOE. Do you still have that passion for teaching? It sounds like you do because you're incorporating your personal resources for your students.
Yeah, I do. I love teaching. You know, it is what I feel like I was meant to do. It's definitely a different environment that I am teaching in that I would like to. Right. You know.
Do you see? I mean, what's the word for it? Like, was your grandfather into the job? What's the
like tenured?
Tenured, yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm tenured.
You're tenured.
I'm tenured. So yeah, I am.
If How many years have you been at DOE?
DOE probably, I guess 7 going on 8 years.
And what do you do? 25 and you're retired?
No, it's 30 or 63, whatever comes second. So
whatever
teaching
comes
with
second.
Correct. If I want my full benefits. So. If you could do the math, I will be teaching for 31 more years, and I'm already been teaching 11 in total. So,
holy crap!
I will be very wrinkly by the time I leave.
Do you see yourself staying? Do you just stay in the DOE, or can you is there like an affiliate program elsewhere? Because I know how much you love to travel. And
honestly, I mean, that's my passion. Like I don't want to say it's like my hobby or, you know, whatever. I mean, I would love to be able to incorporate the teaching aspect of what I love and the aspect of travel that I love to combine it and make it work. I just haven't figured out how to make it happen.
I mean, outsiders somehow, right?
Yeah, no. And that's funny. The people, they can always kind of pick out that I'm a teacher on Outsiders when I, you know, lead the tours or whatever it might. Yeah. Just, I mean, my corny ass jokes for one. And I'm like, well, I work with kids all day long, so they have to be stupid and, you know, G-rated.
Right.
But, you know, just like little things, you know, counting all the little ducklings behind me and, you know, the little, just like the little things. I mean,
what? Okay. So when did you said you developed this passion for travel with your mom? Tell me where you've been. I know you've done some crazy travel and where you, tell me where you've gone, the ones that stand out, and then we'll go from there.
The first place that I really started traveling, and I went there a lot, was Spain, and I absolutely loved it. It started in high school when I went there for a few weeks in the summer to do classes. And ever since then, I found a love for it. I went to a bunch of different places in Spain. I think I visited like 7 or 8 times. And, you know.
Why did you feel compelled to visit the same country over and over? I mean, beautiful place. I've been once. I want to go more. But why there 8 times as opposed to visiting there and then exploring other places?
So, I mean, there are definitely explorations in between. It wasn't like I was there
right.
constantly. But I was learning Spanish, so I was studying it. So part of it was, you know, the school aspect.
Do you speak Catalonian Spanish?
No, I speak Castellano. Castilian Spanish.
How's that different?
Because what you said is spoken in Barcelona.
And
in that
which
region,
one has the lisp? They both do.
In the Castilian Spanish.
The one you speak has a lisp?
Yeah, but it's only the lisp in Spain. It's not like and that's like the proper, like formal Spanish.
But did you say the lisp?
When I was there all the time, I did. I don't really have it anymore.
Okay. Because I know, like, I had a friend of mine from Spain, and when she spoke Spanish here, she looked like she didn't look Latin by any means. So when she spoke Spanish here, the people she was speaking Spanish with were from South America, Central America would laugh.
Yeah, it's definitely a different sound.
Yeah.
For sure. So like when I would talk to a lot of people here in Spanish, a lot of them were Mexican or Puerto Rican or Dominican, and it's like a very different.
Yeah, you can hear it. I mean, even if you don't speak
a different
the language,
sound
you can hear
for sure.
It. Yeah.
But that's where I learned, and I went there for a lot school trips, even if it's not for the classes. And
where else did you go?
Yeah, so I've done a bunch over Europe. I was there a lot
Where
last
in Europe?
summer. I've been to Italy. I was in Bosnia and Montenegro and Croatia last summer doing some hiking. Go Outsiders! No,
We haven't gone there yet, but we will
no,
go there.
it was a lot of fun. I feel like the hiking with Outsiders actually got me more into doing other trips like that because
Really?
I used to I did a lot more active trips. I think since the last few years, but
Okay.
more the hiking. I think
What was your first outsider trip, for that matter? Was it the one I met you, the zip line and high ropes? Was that it?
Yeah, that was actually my first trip.
Okay.
Yeah, my first trip ever.
I remember that because you kind of go within single file, one after the other. So the
Yeah.
person behind you is behind you for the whole
whole
course.
time.
Guess who was behind me? She was. What is wrong with this kid? I'm kidding.
We had a great time.
We had a great time. I think we were talking shit about it. So we had a good time. I think we were laughing because some of the team members of ours were also scared of going like that. That's the high part.
Yeah.
So, but no, we had a good time. Yeah. So you got more adventurous through.
I think I have. Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely have. And I think also just traveling more in general has gotten me more adventurous. I've gotten more comfortable in my own skin with that. And, people are like, yeah, but are you afraid to travel alone? I'm like, no.
It also depends on where you're
You know?
going. It also depends on where you're going for sure.
I'm sure. I haven't had that experience
And you're
yet.
from Brooklyn, so you have street smarts. I know.
Yeah.
We had our trip to Rio. You were there. You saw the only 2 people who got robbed were not from New York. Mm-hmm. They were from LA.
Yeah.
And not to say that they brought it upon themselves, by no means, it wasn't their fault. But there's kind of an edge you have from when you're in New York that you don't necessarily have from different places sometimes.
Yeah. No, I agree. I feel that way, growing up here. It's not that I had to look over my shoulder all the time, but you just kind of walk out your house and like, okay, I'm aware of what's around me. I'm aware of who's around me. I'm holding my bag and not like clutching for dear life, but you're more aware,
It's a demeanor, I think.
Yeah, it could be that too. I don't know. I'm comfortable with it, and I love doing it. So
where else have you been that's exciting? Because I know you've been to
Costa Rica many times, surfed, hiked, all
been
the
to Asia or
things.
Africa?
I've been to South Africa, but this summer I'm going back.
And what are you doing this summer?
This summer,
summer is like, I feel like what you told me made me think like you are a super adventurer.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely put myself out there a lot more than I have in the past this summer, but I have the time, so why not? This summer, I'm starting off my trip going diving in Egypt for like a week. Cannot wait. Haven't had diving like that ever.
Where, in the Red Sea?
So in the Red Sea.
Yeah. I don't dive, but I've snorkeled in the Red Sea.
I cannot wait. No, my dream is to like actually see a whale shark in person.
They're in the Red Sea?
I got the end of their season coming up.
Okay.
So I'm hoping. After that, heading into mainland Egypt, doing, your usual Egypt tour. And then I'm heading to Jordan, moving all around. Lots of, sightseeing, but also active
How do you feel
stuff.
about going there in this climate?
I've definitely, had to do a lot of research and look into things. I'm, again, not the nervous type of traveler. I obviously need to keep my eyes open. There's a lot of political stuff, and I don't want that to, I don't want to say scare me into not going places. But, I'm not going to go into places where there's like imminent threats or danger,
exactly.
But I don't know. I know that a lot of people from Jordan. I work with a lot of people, and, there's having conversations with them and keeping it realistic, I think, is where I'm at right now. And if it becomes something that's not feasible, we'll see in the moment.
Right.
But no, I don't think it's not going to stop me from going to a part of the world that has such history and culture.
Right.
That.
And how do you feel like? Do you see yourself like this lifestyle of, putting your time in the winter with students, and then adventuring for a whole summer? Like, is that something you want to continue doing?
Yeah. Last summer was the first time I really did like a whole summer kind of thing.
Really? How long have you been teaching? 7 years?
Sorry?
You've been teaching for 7 years now?
I've been teaching 11 years.
Oh, 11 years, yeah. Why didn't you do that sooner?
Well, I was living in Curacao for a while, so basically that was
your adventure,
that was my adventure. And then I would just do like a week or two trip here and there, and then I would just enjoy the summer with my friends and family. But last summer I did a couple trips. I was in Costa Rica for 3 weeks. Then I went to Europe for like 2.5 weeks, and this summer it's 8 weeks straight. So.
All right, so South Africa, Egypt to where?
Egypt to Jordan, to Cape Town, South Africa.
I got people to connect you with there.
Yeah, I do too. I have some actual family friends that live there, so looking forward to some other adventures. Gonna go Table Mountain hiking and all the good stuff. But then I'm gonna head into Namibia, and that's where like the real adventure.
What are you doing there?
I'm gonna hike, gonna safari and bushwalk, and then we're gonna stargaze. And I definitely think I'm gonna cry when I see the stars.
Well, because it's so clear there.
Yeah, and we don't get that here in New York. It's you have a lot of other really beautiful things, but we sadly don't have the kind of stars that you can see in other places. So I'm looking forward to that, and my cousin's coming with me for that part. So it's the only thing I think that's keeping my mom sane. Hi, Mom. She's definitely nervous, but I'm not going to go by myself. I'm going to meet other people like I would meet people on an outsider's trip, Well,
what are your goals work-wise? This seems like fun, but are you going to keep on doing this, like I said, work during the winter and then adventure in the summer, and obviously on weekends you have outside stuff and so on. But what do you envision your life being in 5-10 years from now? In that short term, I think I'll still be teaching, but I definitely hope that I'm closer to doing more of the adventure-y stuff and the travel, and having that be more of my primary career. Yeah.
I'd love to be able to do something like that, whether it's education and like working with groups of kids or adults, or whether it's something completely different that I have no idea yet.
Right.
But it's more than just like a lifestyle, a hobby that I like to do. So I would like to figure out a way to make it a full-time thing.
Okay. How long would you want to travel that much?
It doesn't even necessarily need to be that I'm doing the traveling all the time. I think just in the, what's the word? I don't know, getting more out of the classroom and being more present in the planning and the execution and, the world of travel, if you will. I don't know how else to say it. I'll still have time to travel. It's funny. I was coming back and forth to the airport for the probably 10th time in Costa Rica when I was stuck there last year.
Oh my God.
And I was just talking to me and my taxi drivers all the time, my hour-long car rides. And I made so many connections down there. And he's like, yeah, you know, you can have like all these groups of people, have kids come down and, you know, bring groups and, you know, facilitate that.
Why can't you facilitate that with a DOE?
So there's a lot of DOE vendors and things like that need to be approved. I don't know much about it, so I don't want to pretend that I do.
How about this? I've got a suggestion for you. Let's get outsiders approved as DOE, right? With the DOE, and somehow facilitate outings through you with for kids. Like,
that's actually really funny you say that, because I thought about that. I was like, that would be really cool to do these kinds of trips or these activities with the students.
Well, think about this: how eye-opening was it for you when your mom took you to these different countries as a kid?
Oh my God, it was amazing.
It shows you that the world as we know here isn't the whole world, right?
Yeah.
So it opens your eyes to cultures and the way people live, and almost honestly makes you, when you know a little bit more about a culture, people are afraid of what they don't know, right? So if you know a little bit more about it, you feel more comfortable, you relate to them better. So if we could do that with kids who don't necessarily have the means, but Department of Education provides that or facilitates an easier means for people to go, that's doing a great thing.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely would. And there are a lot of really cool things that the DOE does offer. So like, I don't want to sound like I'm bad mouthing them or anything.
No, but not at all.
You know,
I think there's a lot of private schools that take their kids out to trips to Europe or trips to South America or whatever as part of the curriculum. Why can't we provide that for kids in public schools who probably would need the help more than the private school kids?
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be a really amazing thing for the families and the students to have opportunities even to go abroad, or honestly, even within, you know, the United States itself.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be a fulfilling thing for me to do, because I remember being sent to France when I was a kid because my mom is from there and we used to stay with family, but it was eye-opening as far as culture for us. So if I could do that for kids who don't necessarily have the means, I'd feel good about it. I think it'd be great for them. I don't know how to work through the bureaucratic red tape of government processes. That's something you need to help me out with. But I'd love to do that.
Yeah, I think that would be a really amazing thing. I think
and it would fulfill your goal as well.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
And the exchange program too, where you can also facilitate the exchange for teachers.
Yeah, people have talked to me about that. They're like, well, what about like teaching abroad? I'm like, well, I mean, I've done that, you know. I feel like I'm past that in my life.
It'd be great to get, well, I mean, I don't know how long you want to spend overseas adventuring, right? Do you want to spend a week or two per year? And then not including your vacation, like with students? Or do you want to...
I mean, that's a good point. I mean, at this point in my life, I don't have a boyfriend. I don't have like kids or I don't want to say anything holding me back, because it's not a bad thing if you have those things, you know, but I don't have any of that I need to worry about, let's say, you know. It's just me. It's me and my dog, actually, you know, so he's easy to take. You know, so it's open. If I have opportunities, you know, it's something to think about.
Right.
So for me, I can't say anything for sure right now, but I love the whole thing. So if it's for work or whether it's for vacation and pleasure, like, you know,
okay,
I'm open to it. I don't want to be away all the time. I mean, I like Brooklyn. I want to come home.
Brooklyn. Yeah. I like the way she says Brooklyn. Okay. Let's get some of these questions here. Pushing the wrong buttons. All right. So before the cameras turned on, you told me you got what your weekend's plans are. So this next question is, what do you do for fun? But I have an idea. I know what it is.
So you might not be able to tell by looking at me, but I really like EDM music and I like going to raves.
It's written all over your face.
Is it?
No, I'm kidding.
I just smile from ear to ear, though. I mean, my God. It's funny that like 2 weekends ago, I was actually in DC for a music festival and had the best time with the best people. And yeah, so I love going to listen to live music, but specifically EDM.
Anything else?
I like going on outsider trips. Truthfully,
I wasn't
like
fishing for
it
that
wasn't
either,
a push.
yeah.
It wasn't a plug. I swear.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, I like meeting people. I think I thrive around people.
You do a great job.
You know, and I'm definitely a solitary person. I could be nice and quiet, but then I get to the point where I'm like, I need to be around people.
Yeah.
And not children.
Oh, I couldn't imagine that. Wow, I didn't think about that. But yeah, I don't think I could ever be a full-time teacher by any means. It's not for me. But I think it's important. It feels good to be around like my niece and nephew, kids. It kind of gives you a different perspective on what's important
yeah.
and so on.
And they'll tell you that.
But also
how it
that I'll
is.
have my time with them. And then like, I need some adult time now.
Yeah, I can give it back.
Yeah. Exactly. What else? Outdoors, fun, just being around
Yeah,
people.
Honestly, being around people and socializing, and I mean, any kind of setting, really.
Okay.
You know, doesn't need to be anything special. Just, you know.
What are your personal goals?
Figuring out how to do the two things that I love together.
Travel and teach.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a goal. I think that I'll be a lot happier if I figure out a way to do that.
I just gave you suggestions.
I know. It's a journey. So
It is.
we gotta,
Well, let me know how I can help, because Pat suggested that DOE vendor stuff, but he's like, you should do that. I'm like, all right, send me the info and help me through it.
I
And
mean,
he
I don't know
doesn't.
how, but once you become a DOE vendor with all that, I think it's an application or something. It opens a lot of doors because it's tons of schools and tons of kids. So, it's definitely an interesting idea. So I appreciate that.
Let's do it. What advice would you give high school you?
That's a good question.
What were you like in high school?
High school.
Well, I want to know.
I probably wasn't as confident and like outgoing as I was or am. I feel like just like, what do I say all the time? I say it to all my friends now too. I think not in a bad or like conceited way, but I'm going to do me. Like, just do you and worry about that, because everyone else doesn't matter, or like what they say is not the end all be all. And I feel like I was so concerned about what other people thought of me, and I wasn't happy like that.
Yeah.
So now, being older and, having those life experiences, it's like, no, don't worry about what other people say or think, just whatever's going to make you happy is what you need to go do.
Very good. That's a very good one. I think just not being so, like you said, not being so affected by other people's opinions, and also not focus on what their achievements are, what their...
Exactly, because everyone's life is different. So their life's going to bring them one way, and, you don't need to be in that same path.
Okay. Hey, if you had a podcast, what would it be about?
Well, if it wasn't about the adventures of me and my everyday schooling life, all the crazy stuff my students and I do. I don't know, actually. That's what I've thought about. Maybe like a travel kind of thing, not like a blog, but just, I don't know.
Cultural
travel, or complete other way, the craziest true crime stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
You like that stuff?
Yeah, I do. I was just listening to a podcast on the way here called Psychopedia. It's so good. And
what is the obsession?
I don't know.
Are obsessed by that. Yeah. All right. Next question for you. I think I know the answer to this, but how do you incorporate? We're in the North Face showroom, and it says "Never Stop Exploring" on two walls here.
Yeah.
Two walls. Sorry.
Really big in case we can't read.
So, how do you incorporate exploration in your life?
I get out and go during all of my breaks. I get out, whether it's locally or internationally. I just try to get out and do different things. And my friends ask me, not what are you doing over break? It's where are you going over break? And it doesn't need to be somewhere that it's far or something, extravagant, but I need to get out, meet different people, try different things, and push the limits.
If you're not internationally traveling, where are you going?
I didn't get to do a lot of stuff locally, like growing up. I mean, I shouldn't say I didn't do a lot of like exploring and stuff locally. So I think I do a lot of stuff with outsiders, and like I get to explore where I grew up and like the area that's nearby.
Yeah.
So
true. I mean, even if you did exploration, there's so many places to see.
Exactly.
Like there's parts of the Rockaway ride, the bike ride, which it's still amazing. Every time I ride through our route, it's amazing because you ride through like a variety of ethnic neighborhoods. Then you ride through like places where there's massive mansions in Brooklyn. Then you ride through what seems like a little beach town.
Yeah.
It's insane, and it's all within, a 22-mile ride.
Yeah, it really is. It's so cool that, to grow up in this kind of area. I feel really lucky to have had that experience.
Yeah.
You can't compare to it anything else. Like moving to the city is one thing and getting to experience it, but having to grow up and be that be your life and your experience. Yeah, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Greatest city on earth.
Greatest city on earth.
There we go. And people that are not from New York have said that, so I don't feel so bad saying it myself.
Yeah.
All right. What is your most embarrassing moment? I know you got something good. I feel like you might have told us an embarrassing story once.
Did I? Oh God. Now I feel like now you got two, I guess.
I should have gotten your mom's number and asked her.
Oh man. I don't know. Jeez.
To buy you some time.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to go into that yet. I'm going to tell that in a second, though.
No.
You and your mom hosted a Friendsgiving. You've all volunteered to host a Friendsgiving for
Yeah.
outsiders, and that was beautiful. And your mom is so amazing. You guys cooked amazing feasts. But I want to thank you for hosting it in the first place and wanting to do it and being such a team contributor is so beautiful.
Oh, well, thank you.
There you
I
go.
mean, I love to host. I have all my friends over all the time for different events or just to get together. Everyone's life is so busy and hectic that sometimes it's like, all right, well, when are we all free? And, nothing ever gets planned. So I'm definitely that kind of person.
I like that. Take the initiative.
So, yeah.
To buy you a little more time. We usually give examples of previous embarrassing stories we've heard. And the last one we just heard was pretty embarrassing. It was funny, though.
All right.
So Sabrina Horn, she was here. She's talking about how she'd been, she travels so much, but she was on autopilot. You're so preoccupied with something, you're on autopilot, and you just start doing stuff like you're not really supposed to do. She's going through airport security, and you're supposed to take off your belt. Well, she takes off her belt and starts pulling her pants down. When we get halfway down the flight, she realized, no, the pants got to stay on because there's people behind your watch. So that was that. You know Javier as well, right?
Yeah.
Javier was getting on a public bus on his way to school with snap-off pants. Part of the pants got stuck in the door. He gets up the stairs, pants rip off. He's standing in his tighty whities on the top of the stairs in front of the bus, in front of everybody, a public bus. That's pretty embarrassing. And lastly, the legend, Ken Tanaka, wins it. I don't know how embarrassing it is, though. I mean, it's embarrassing, but if no one caught on to it, it's not that embarrassing, but it's still embarrassing having told the story. He ran the New York City Marathon with food poisoning and had to take a shit in every mile marker. Ooh. Took him 8 hours and 27 shits later.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah. So,
damn.
What you got for us?
I don't want to sound like I'm hiding anything. I just don't think I have a story like that.
You're 100% hiding something.
I'm sure I'm really trying to rack my brain, and all right. Last year I was teaching, and I was at pre-K, and I was helping them bend out. I was getting them ready for nap time. So I'm on the floor putting together the cots, and thank God I don't think anyone was behind me, but I bent down one last time, and my pants split open. And I was at work, and of course I don't bring change of clothes to work.
Yeah. So
I'm like, what do I do? Thank God the teacher came by and was like, hey, you okay? I was like, actually, no. I just ripped my pants. And I'm like, she's like, wait, what do you mean? I was like, yeah, no, it happened. So I had to go to the 99-cent store and buy a pair of men's pajama pants and teach the rest of the day in them.
Wow.
So
that's resourceful, though. Shoot.
I
always carry an extra pair of underwear with me.
Well, I can't teach in underwear, so
obviously, obviously not. I'm saying I don't carry pants. That's what I would carry. That and socks, right. In case I forget them at the gym.
Yeah. Well, that's a different story.
Yeah.
If I had your lifestyle, it would be easier.
What you mean?
I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. You have your office is everywhere. You're kind of all over the place. It wasn't meant to be a bad thing.
I'm not. I'm just getting more clarification. Okay. Last segment of this podcast is a series of 5 rapid fire questions.
More rapid fire than that?
And what?
I'm kidding. Just go
that
ahead.
wasn't rapid fire.
I know it wasn't. You're right. Go ahead.
You better answer.
You gave me time to think. I know. All right.
I bought you time for that terrible story of yours. But go ahead. I'm kidding. It was pretty good.
I'm gonna wake up later from a nap, and it'll be like, "Oh my God, I should have said
ripping
this."
Your pants is pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
What's your favorite city other than New York City?
Manuel Antonio in Costa Rica.
Where?
Manuel Antonio in
Really?
Costa Rica.
Where in Costa Rica is that?
It is. Great question. I'm blanking.
And what's your favorite part about it?
I'm a sucker for the beach, but it also has a lot of other like activities and outdoor stuff that you could do nearby.
Do you know
Beautiful
if it's
rainforest.
Pacific side or Caribbean side?
It's on the Pacific side.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard the Pacific side, I guess maybe more popular because of surfing, right?
Yeah.
All right. Nice. I haven't been to Costa Rica yet, but I definitely plan on going. If you could do any other profession, what would you do?
I would be a travel agent.
You have that opportunity.
I know.
Yeah.
I just thought about it. I was like, all right, man, I could do that. I could
Okay.
plan people's trips and like
You can.
itineraries.
Well, you're going to help me plan itineraries if there's anything that stands out in your mind from this trip you're going on this summer.
Okay.
What's your vice?
True crime podcasts.
Really?
I think so.
You can't
I
get
listen
enough
to
of
them
those?
every single day, like
And those
sometimes
can be,
like 4 times a
detrimental
day.
to your mental health, can't they? Are you like listening to them before you go to sleep and having bad dreams?
No.
What is it? What is it about them to get off
It's
on
just
so much?
it's just interesting to like hear like, well, wow, like how is someone so messed up? And I don't know.
You're dark.
Yeah.
It's probably to figure out a way. All right, he got caught. This is how I'm not going to get caught by listening to what he.
Yeah,
fucked up
exactly.
on.
I'm sorry. I appreciate you. What's your greatest fear? Getting caught.
Being alone, like in life.
As in not finding a partner?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that yeah.
That's it's a very rational fear, and just a lot of people wouldn't necessarily admit to that, thinking it's something to frown upon. But
not in the sense of like, oh my, like I don't need to have someone because I need to have someone. Like I'm very much independent, but I don't want to be alone all life. I want to have a partner to share life with and experiences with. I've been doing a lot on my own, so
I hear you. Me too. I definitely hear you. All right, great answer, and thank you, because that's something that people might not feel comfortable sharing. So thank you for opening up on that. And what's your favorite food? That's the last question. And what did you bring us today?
All right, bring it over. So I brought one for my favorite restaurant. I didn't have time to make any of it, but coming from a Syrian Lebanese background, so some of my like favorite comfort food is like Middle Eastern food.
Oh, I like that. What you got?
I brought it from one of my favorite. Well, it is my favorite restaurant. It's called Tannerine in Brooklyn.
Bay Ridge. Tannerine, Bay Ridge,
yeah.
Brooklyn.
You might have even heard of it. I don't know if you have, but the chef is a Palestinian woman who literally is in the kitchen before the place opens up. She cooks everything. She's out. She's on the floor. She's talking to everyone. I mean, you can like taste the love in the food. It is so good, and it's just like something comforting about it that I love. So I brought an amazing fattoush salad.
Ooh,
I think
fattoush
you
salad.
can eat that.
Right.
You could just leave out the little
Pita chips. Yeah.
I brought the most amazing cauliflower ever with some tahini
Nice.
dressing and pomegranate molasses.
Oh, hell yeah.
And the star is the chicken feti dish, which is rice.
Chicken what?
Feti, I think. I don't speak Arabic, so I don't really know how to say it. But
Let's open these up and take a look at what you have here. So this is the.
You got some here too. Don't you worry. But this is cauliflower. It's nothing crazy and fancy, but it is so good.
Can you tell us? I mean, obviously, other than it being delicious, can you tell us why these are your favorites?
I mean, I personally like them. This one here with the rice, it's just something with rice and chicken, and there's a little yogurt and nuts. No, these are almonds on top. Okay. Underneath is rice. I mean, the taste is great, but it's something comforting. It's like homey.
Right. Did your mom make this stuff for you, or your grandmother?
We used to have things that were similar.
My hands are slippery.
Similar, but ever since I went there, this is like my new
This looks
favorite.
amazing. My God.
Got some bread.
Chris, I know you don't usually eat this stuff, but
You got a set of utensils. So
wow.
Come on over.
So this is the chicken. What's on the chicken?
So chicken, it's like a yogurt sauce.
Can't have that. Okay.
Okay, sorry. This is like a tahini dressing. It's so good.
How'd you find this place?
I mean, I live in Bay Ridge, and it's in Bay Ridge. It's been around for about 25 years or so, I think. And it has been like one of my
Is it a
favorites.
Palestinian restaurant?
Yeah.
Has this been exposed by any TikTokers yet?
No, 'cause I know that
I don't think
restaurant,
so.
too. I know that restaurant.
I mean,
too.
it's well known because of like its own kind of reputation. It's not because of what's going on in the
Yeah.
world at the moment. Yeah, but I forget what her name is.
Tastes like some Persian spices too.
Yeah, sumac and mint and just everything. Oh, it's so good.
This is delicious. Great choice, and man, we haven't had something come in all out like this in a while.
You're like,
Appreciate
what's
it.
your favorite food? And I was like, you can make it. You could bring, like, well, I can't make anything right now, so I gotta.
I mean, some people will go as far as like the one where you would think he was cheating on what he bring. He just got lazy. It wasn't. He had a whole story behind it. Takis, right? Taki chips. He went in about talking about why he's addicted. It's his vice. He's addicted to these chips. He can't stop. He went so far to find out where he can get the powder. Found the powder for the Taki chips and ordered it and started sprinkling it on. What do you put it on again? Popcorn.
Yeah,
yeah.
he found.
Ooh, that sounds like it'd be really good though.
He found some lady in Mexico who makes. She'll recreate any flavor you want,
No yogurt on that.
and then send you. She'll send you a packet with the spice in it.
Oh wow, that sounds like that movie that they made about the flaming hot Cheetos or something like that. It was a movie about the guy who was kind of making up the spice mix for
Really?
the flaming hot Cheetos. It was a very random movie that I watched one night, but someone told me about it, and yeah, it was
I'd watch
interesting. But that reminds me of the story of that guy that you just talked about. You know,
Obsession.
yeah.
This is healthy too. I love this food. Chris, anything you want to add
What?
today?
No.
All right. Anything else you want to add?
No, I like your suggestion from before, so I'm excited to talk.
Yeah, let's talk more about that. I want to say I'm so happy that you reached out to me about joining the team months ago because you're the perfect fit. You're super involved in anything, and a good way for me to measure that is how active somebody is in the chat. When someone doesn't chime in, I'm like, you're not really part of the team. So you're very involved, and people like you are so needed for groups like this. So thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Anyway, look out for our collaboration with DOE, and stay tuned for the next episode.
You heard it here.